Hey, it's your boy Drew. Hello, everybody, and it's me and my bestie Karma again, and we're gonna have a lovely reaction to this clip that kind of went viral on the Pineapple Show. Apparently, it's a show where people will be featured, and then people will call in to try to date them, and it's kind of like a speed dating YouTube. And apparently, it's like this YouTube show that's kind of like a speed dating show where you will be featured, and then several people will call in, and then you will talk about, or you will, I guess you have 2 minutes or so to kind of decide if you're into that person. And if you're not, you'll say something like pineapples. So this is a reaction that we're gonna do that went viral because this lady, I guess you should just play it and then we'll go from there. You'll get the gist, essentially. What are your thoughts, Karma? Want to preempt it with anything?
No. Let's go.
Yeah, that looks really good, by the way. Yeah.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's different. Maybe I pulled a couple braids to one
something.
To the other.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you. Okay, here we go.
Hello. Oh, hi.
What
Hi.
are you reading?
Yeah, I was actually reading. I ship out in a few days, so I was just reading The Art of Strategy.
Okay.
In the military?
Yeah, so actually I'm a nuclear physicist for the Navy.
No.
So I do that in a few days.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
How old are you?
I am 27. I look a little young. I'm not that young.
Yeah, you look young.
So where do you live?
So I'm actually in the Woodlands, Texas right now. Right down there by Houston. I'm about 30 minutes away from Houston. So I'm a little close.
Oh, nice. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Man, where do I start? I like martial arts a lot. I did a bit of pharmacy back when I was a little bit younger, about 2-3 years ago. I got certified at pharmacy around when I was 17. I didn't really do anything with it. I went to university for a while. I was getting like a business degree. So I have a bachelor's in business. And then I did pharmacy for a little while, for about 3 years, and then got bored. So I was like, let's go see what the military has to offer. Didn't do anything. I did my PICAT about a year ago. Got a 96 on that. It goes up to a 99, got a 96. They offered me nuclear physics, and I was like, why the fuck not? So I went there, and now I ship out in a few days.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, best of luck as you ship out pineapples.
Yeah. Why?
Because he literally didn't tell me any qualities about himself. He's just like, I made a 96 on this. I did this. And I feel like I did that at first too. But however, I need a man with some personality.
You felt that quick? You know you didn't have personality?
Yes, I'm really good at reading people.
Okay.
Oh,
My darling Karma, what did you think of that?
Johnny.
all right. So I have concerns on both sides. It was actually a little interesting because like the guy was a little odd to me, but that's fine. The girl, you tell me what you thought first. Because I have a lot of thoughts on this. One of them is that the guy is a little odd, and I think that they're just not a match personality-wise. I suspect that he has a very different background than she does. He almost seemed a little bit on the spectrum also, but which I would actually say that's a plus for women, because I feel like women are always looking for some, not all women and not always, but I notice a lot lately women talking about he's got to be 6 foot, he needs a beard that connects, and swag, like all of these really weird requirements for a guy. And I'm like, what is 6 feet gonna do? What is a beard connecting gonna do? What is swag going to do for your life? So I don't understand it, but I do notice it's some type of Instagram culture of women looking for weird traits in guys, as opposed to some type of substantial thing. But I think that's reflective of how men now look for Instagram model type women instead of women of substance, or, you know, a girl next door, or women with a brain that are nice. But as I want you to give me your thoughts, because I have some more thoughts, but I'll go into it after you finish.
So because I'm in the Navy, I was in the Navy, I got to meet a lot of nuclear. When you have a job in the Navy, we call them rates. I got to meet a lot of nuclear rates in the Navy, and they're all fucking weird.
That's what I was getting at. Like,
so when he said he's a nuclear physicist in the Navy, I was like, ciao. They were all weird. Look, I don't mean any shade to them, but they're all fucking weird. Carmen. Okay, so I remember one time I was standing in line to get food. We were out to sea for I don't know how long, and so sometimes those lines to wait for food are like super long. So sometimes you just spark a chat with somebody, and so this guy was in front of me, and we were chatting throughout the lunch line, and I could tell he was very intelligent. So I was like, he must be a nuclear. He's a nuclear. You can tell, super stupid smart. So then we started talking about insects or something, and he was just like, I said something about spiders being an annoying bug, and he's like, they're not bugs, they're arachnids, they're not considered insects. Right. And I said, well, it doesn't really matter to the population writ large, a spider's just a bug. He argued with me for 20 minutes about how the fact that a spider is not an insect, it's an arachnid, and I should know better, and da-da-da-da-da. I was just like, nobody cares if spiders are arachnids or not. They're just a bug to everyone else.
Okay, so this is the flip side of that. It depends on what a woman is looking for. So for me, like, this is like an Elon Musk type personality. And for some women, they would like that. Or in a way that's a bonus, because, you know, like, he's weird, so no one else is checking for him, so I don't have to worry about all of the other women coming after him because he's so freaking weird. So that's the flip side of this, is that you get a good-looking, successful guy, but he's going to be weird. But he's so weird that other women will be off-put by the weirdness. So, jackpot.
Again, because I was in the Navy,
you have the ability to put up with it.
Yeah. Because I was in the Navy and I met so many nuclear rates, I remember thinking, oh, he's a nuclear guy. They're so weird. But he seemed okay-ish in that conversation. Like, he seemed the most normal that I could think of when I met like a lot of nuclear rates. I almost was a nuclear rate because on my PICAT, as he put, I almost got high enough to get in the nuclear rate. I got like an 80, 88 or something. You need to have a 90 in order to be qualified for the nuclear rates. When I was in high school, I got like a 97 on the ASVAB, you know, so I would, but whatever. So I say all that to say, the problem here is she typifies an image of Black women who claim that they want a successful guy, but really they want ghost from power. And that's what happened, because afterwards she said he was corny, right? She kept saying he's corny, he didn't have any personality. He probably did, but you just wanted a drug dealer. Like, that's how it comes across. What?
Or
That's
no,
how it comes across.
he wanted a guy with a beard that connects and swag.
Drug dealer?
I mean, she doesn't want a, what do they call it, a square or a corporate guy. Because that's what you're going to get when you get these corporate guys, specifically anyone in very, mathematical, technical fields. Finding a guy with swag in these technical fields is a unicorn. Like, they're going to be a little eccentric. They're going to be very bookish. They're going to be, if you're lucky, they're just bookish. It's more likely, like you said, they'll be a little eccentric. They'll be possibly on, depending on what the field is, something highly, very, very technical, very, highly mathematical, whatever. You're moving up in levels of like I said, possibly people on a spectrum. Or on this spectrum, as they say.
Yeah. And
it really just depends what you want. Like I said, Elon Musk was married. There's lots of these people who are married, if I'm not mistaken, Elon Musk is on the spectrum. To me, if you really are about being with someone that's successful and that's just something that you want to be a part of, that's a part of the package. And like I said, it could be a bonus because they're so kind of not, they're not really aware of, sometimes they're not aware of like how to interact with people. I can't think of what that's called. That's one of the things.
Socially awkward?
Yeah, but there's an actual term for it where they have issues of socializing, with people or understanding what societal norms are or, and things like that.
Asperger's,
Asperger's, that's it.
Yeah.
And so you'll run into people like that where, the guy is a good looking guy, but they're not making these connections of like, they can't make eye contact with you. They don't know how to exactly, fit into social.
Or they're going to argue with you about a spider being an arachnid and not an insect. As if
they're not taking the clue that like,
yeah.
Yes, they're not getting the clue like this isn't that serious. And I don't need to argue with you for 20 minutes about arachnid or a bug. That's what you're getting into. But again, if you're willing to look past that and see, them as a person and see them as successful and, the potential of being a good husband or a good father or, just a good friend, good mate. Again, that could be a jackpot because other women are going to be like, oh, well, he's really, this and that, but he doesn't have swag. So they're going to be put off by that.
So here's the thing that I think makes him a little bit different. Yeah. Here's something that I think makes him a little bit different. He'd mentioned that he was into martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the nuclear rates that I know of are not physically fit. They're kind of like that nerd body type of thing. He seemed like he cared a little bit more about his physicality. He was actually relatively handsome, so that's what sets him apart. And he doesn't strike me as he would be as weird as a lot of the other nuclear rates, but he did seem like, well, what was it? He was like talking about how I scored this rate on my test. I'm shipping out. I'm a nuclear physicist. I feel like that is not the type of leading things that's not what you lead with in conversations, I would assume, with women in a setting like that. Like, that's something I think he fucked up on. And maybe if he did a little bit of coaching, he would know better than that. I think it wasn't wise for him to be like, I got a 96 on my exam.
Yeah, I don't know if he just never had watched the show. I've never watched that show before. That was my first time seeing it. But I don't know if he just he'd never seen the show before. He didn't know what the normal, not profile, the normal setup of how you would go into your, your dating characteristics. Or
I kind of wish he had asked her more questions.
Yeah, I
kind of wish he had taken the charge.
Yeah, it was almost like he was in an interview mode and he thought that he was being like, interviewed for a job instead of
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
to pitch yourself to women. You know?
Yes. It felt like he was interviewing for a job or something. So he's like, look, these are my accolades. Like I did this.
He's like,
And
look,
I'm
I'm
like,
reading The Art of War, or, you know.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
And I was just like,
the
man,
interview
he should have been asking her, where are you from? What do you like to do? What are you looking for in a guy? What do you think about me so far? Like, I feel like those are more like dating type of questions. That's why I was kind of like, damn, like nuclear rates are also weird. So
But
look,
he
a lot of
be sheltered. He might be like sheltered. He doesn't have a lot of experience speaking with women, with girls.
possibly.
Even though he said he was 26, he should have more experience.
So that's why for me, my conclusion is there was a lot of reactions to this video, and they were all clowning her about how she was like bashing him for not being down or he was too corny. But I'm going to say something kind of unpopular. He was a nuclear rate, and they're kind of weird. So I think she picked up on weirdness from him. And true, maybe she had mentioned that she wished he had talked more about things he liked. And that's fine. And that's fair. And that people were like, you should have asked him questions. But I also recognize that I can't.
And I don't want to call them strange. It's like, it's a different, there's different personality types. And it requires a very specific personality type to be able to focus your mind in that way on those type of technical things. Like it's almost, it's like there are artistic creatives, there are mathematical people, there are people who are very good in like leadership and organizing things. And then I can't think of it. There's different quadrants of like what the personalities are. I just think,
I don't want to,
I'm sure there's a girl out there that would meet him and be like, oh, he's perfect.
Yeah. Well, I also don't want to diminish what they do is extremely important. Mm-hmm. The nuclear rates are part of the reactor department on ships. And in my aircraft carrier, the reactor department never got a break. They worked so hard and so much, and it was dangerous stuff, Like they're making sure that the aircraft carrier remains powered. And if there's any issue, they have to work all night to figure it out. And they expose themselves to potential radiation and harm and not being able to have kids. So I also want to point out, that what he's about to do to keep us safe from enemies is valiant. So, but they're all so unique. They're very unique people. But what their job is extremely important. We take for granted the safety that they bring us here in the United States. So that's something that I would appreciate with them. Like I can look at him and go, well, you know what? We come home and we like sit on our couch or in our bed and we like kind of veg out and relax and feel safe and free to do whatever we need to do because he's on the ship in this really warm, hot room, making sure that our nuclear powered aircraft carriers can protect the shores of this country, and all sorts of the issues that can arise can be terrifying. Like I remember, I'm sure I've told you about this. There was one time so on my ship, we have a 24-hour gym on the ship. So because it's 24 hours and I would want to get up early and work out really early, sometimes I would go to the ship at like 3:30, 4 in the morning to work out. And I remember one Friday morning, right before we were about to ship out to sea for I forget how long. All sorts of shit was going down in the reactor department. Everything was just everything was like blowing up or something. And I was terrified. And the reactor department had to stay and figure it out. Like I remember the power just went out on the whole ship. It was just dark. I was in the middle of my shower, like the water pressure turned off and the power turned off. And I was like, what is happening? Like there was all these bells and alarms going off at like 5 in the morning. And I was like, we're supposed to leave tomorrow. Like this is crazy, He's the one that has to go in there and figure out what's happening and make sure that we're all safe. You know what I mean? So I can sit here and make fun of all of these rates and my perception of them being weird, but my God, they protect the shit out of us, his smart ass is why we're here in the United States chilling, not worried about stuff, because he's out there being smart and taking care of things that are keeping us safe. So I don't want to diminish that. But I will say that the nuclear rates are all strange. They're like weird. They're weird, Carmen. So
yeah,
maybe a little coaching on his part, he could be okay.
I mean, maybe they're just weird to us, and within their own little group of people, their little microcosm of people, like they're completely normal. But again, like I think there's something to be said for us getting away from this Instagram culture and, women looking for beards that connect and 6 feet tall, and you being able to like have swag and do the latest TikTok dance, like, and then men valuing like nothingness, like, what is it, like lip injections and and whatever else, a good contour and a snatched waist and a BBL, like, if it weren't for people like this guy, where would we be? Like, we need to refocus and start valuing people of substance and depth instead of valuing, to be honest, like stupid stuff.
I'll be honest, if he were gay, you could get it.
And I feel like it's an American, do you think this is what American culture has become? Because I feel like put that guy in another country and someone would snap him up and they'd be like, what do you mean he's weird? Yeah. He's a scientist, or he's a nuclear physicist. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. True. That's a good point.
Or I'd say 20 years ago, no, I'd be like, he's weird. They'd be like, oh, wow, he's really smart.
Smart. That's a good point. That's, like I said, I can't diminish their role in keeping us safe and being able to sit here and have this conversation and not feel like someone's going to attack us. What they do is so important. What he does is so important, like so important. Like I have a respect for the reactor department and what the nuclear rates do, because it's hard. The different departments, we will get days off for holidays. And whatever will happen, we'll get like a week off, or not reactor, not the nuclear people. They got to work every fucking day, all the time, to make sure that shit don't blow up. They never get breaks, ever, never. And so that's why a part of me is like, yeah, they might be a little bit weird, but damn, they work. And it's so underappreciated. So that's something that I wanted to highlight about what he's about to do. I wonder, man, if I could have a conversation with him and be like, bro, you're about to embark on not getting any breaks and days off and stuff. You're going to be working like every day because what he does is so important. He's going to be working. He said he's a physicist. So I'm curious as to if he's like went officer. It doesn't seem like he went officer. It seems like he's probably enlisted, but he's going to be working, man.
So again, I really think it might be a cultural issue. I remember reading somewhere that I believe like Asian students were having issues with their college, like not the exams, but like essays, or when they were having interviews with people, because culturally it was very different. Like their personality was much more conservative, and so when they were interviewing, it wasn't coming off as well as with the American students. Like they were kind of more relatable somehow, or had an ease about them of conversation. And for some reason, the Asian students were coming off socially awkward. I wish I could find that article somewhere, but that just reminds me of this. So.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is a cultural phenomenon, and it doesn't look good that the story that is the rhetoric is that women want someone successful and intelligent, and then you're presented with a guy that's successful and intelligent, and you're like, no, I want him to be like more swaggy, like Ghost from Power, and that doesn't look good. It kind of looked bad, but I think that like you said, there wasn't a connection between them. Maybe she should have leaned in on that. She'd be like, oh, I just wasn't feeling it with me and him. He seems like really nice. Maybe she just kind of kept the whole he's corny to herself. That would have helped because.
But it's sad that she didn't even realize that it made her look bad. Like she thought she came off looking cool. Like, oh, he's corny. It's like,
yeah.
Like, you're just not that deep.
Yeah.
You're kind of superficial. Like that kind of made you look bad.
So,
but again, everyone's not for everyone.
So there were some reactions where they were like, why didn't you, if you wanted to hear more about what he was up to, what he did and whatnot, why didn't you ask him questions? What are your thoughts about that? Like, there was a lot of people that were like, you should have asked him some stuff about himself. Maybe you could have gotten him to kind of open up more. Some people were like, he seemed kind of nervous. He seemed like scared. He obviously was attracted to you. Maybe you should have asked him some more pointed questions to get like more of the input or the response that you wanted. What do you think about that?
I don't know if that had to do with the format of the show, that, that's just how the show is. I think she just disqualified herself, basically. I think they just were not on the same level, and she already knew that. I think she just wasn't very deep. She was a little superficial, and she probably wouldn't have even been able to come up with questions. I know that sounds awful, but I suspect that she wasn't looking for anything deeper than swag. She was looking for swag, and there are no questions that you can ask someone to figure out their swag.
Yeah, that makes me a little. I was saddened by that because she's a pretty woman.
I'd be like, oh well, okay, well, what's something you like to do? What she. Another thing is that I think that within the Black community, that women are used to men just being very in your face when they approach, and just more forward and hey Ma, what's up? And he wasn't giving any of that. He was giving interview, and she didn't know how to even respond to that. Maybe in retrospect, she might have thought, oh, maybe I could have asked him. But at the moment, she probably was just like, I'm just not used to someone approaching me like that. So
I will say he definitely doesn't seem as weird as like the normal nuclear rates that I ran into. He seemed a little bit more normal.
He's not that bad. To me,
yeah.
He came off as someone in interview mode that was slightly socially awkward or not used to dealing with
it says a lot when he's like leading with the books he's read and his score on his PyCat. That says a lot about his personality. That you're right. Like they were on a different wavelength. She wanted to know about what artists he likes to listen to, or what concert he's been to, what car he drives. That's probably more so what she wanted to hear. And he was just like, well, I read this book and I learned this philosophy and about to do this on a ship. Like that's where his mind is. And
she was like, book, test.
She's like, ew, academics. Oh, poor guy. I wish
your beard connect. Go ahead.
Yeah. I wish I could at least chat with him about what he's about to embark on. It's important what he does, but I don't even know if he's been prepped on what he's about to embark on. That life is hard. That nuclear life on the ship is hard. Whew. That life is hard. Bless his heart. Like, kudos to him. Man. I mean, they get paid though. They get like a fat bonus. Like they get like the highest bonuses. They work a lot. Yeah.
See what I mean? If you're a woman who doesn't want women hitting on your man, you don't need to go around that much, and you want to get a bonus. See, you're missing out.
Yes. Yes, that is a good point. That is a good point. You bring up a really good point.
Don't want children.
You want a man, you want a man that's not gonna get hit on by a lot of women. There's like, man, did I ever meet any female nuclear rates? I don't think I did.
And then there you go, women. If there's a field that you'd like to go into.
Oh my God. I didn't meet any female nuke in reactor. Oh shit. They were all dudes.
Nice.
like thinking like reactor. No, they were all guys. All guys. Oh shit. Okay, let me think. So I went to the office a few times. Did I see any females? All guys. Damn, Karma.
It's today.
Oh shit. You're right. There's not going to be any women.
Yeah, it's like
encroaching.
The Silicon Valley of like how women move to Silicon Valley to try to get a tech guy. Ladies, go into the.
I mean, obviously, women would get high scores on their ASVAB and PICAST to be able to qualify for those rates. Why were there no women? How interesting. Now I gotta ask I'm still in contact with like the reactor people. Israel is his name. I'm gonna reach out to him like, hey, were there any females in your department? Like, I can't remember seeing any. Holy shit. You might be onto something there. Wow.
Ladies, we have to use our heads. Stop looking for beards that connect. And 6 feet. What are some inches going to do for your life? Nothing. Well, no. Better get to a 5'9" dude and keep it moving.
Yes.
That's still taller than average women's height. Like,
yeah.
Just wear some.
I mean, that's the average height for a guy in male in the United States is 5'9".
Yeah.
So, and he looked like he seemed like he was in there.
Like, why?
Yeah.
What? So you can wear like 4-inch heels?
Yeah, that is a curious phenomenon. It's a curious phenomenon that women want a polarity of women want guys that are above 6 feet. That is very interesting because it's not common.
I mean, I understand that it looks, I don't know,
Adonis-esque.
Yeah, it's like, he's gonna protect me. But I mean, someone who's like 5'10" can protect you too, like especially if you're 5'6". So
that's true. Man, how sad, but very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I think we're running out of time a little bit, but I think we need to deep dive into, what do you think about deep diving into wheat waffles and his ideas of what he thinks women want and what the standards are? I think we need to attack this. I think we're moving toward this, especially talking about this nuclear physicist.
Yes, I think, I mean, this conversation kind of proves his point slightly.
No.
Really?
No, because according to his point, a Chad
it's about the looks.
Can act however he wants.
That's a good point. And he would probably argue that this guy's like a 6 or 7 or 7 or something.
Oh, he would say this guy's like an 8 or a 9, I think.
You think so? Well, he doesn't give anyone, I don't think he gives anyone 9, but he might categorize him close to 8 because he's a very symmetrical, handsome guy.
He'd get it. He'd definitely get an 8.
That's a good point. But see, maybe it does prove his point because
socially awkward or shy, or socially awkward equals shy when it's a Chad. Whereas if someone's socially awkward and a sub 5 or sub norm, then they're weird, a weirdo.
Creepy.
We have to address this.